It's over. The wait is over.
You should do like you know how those people are like
What?
it's like over.
I just said that. I literally just said that.
No.
What's up, guys?
It's KNR
Back at it again.
with another.
Is that what you're gonna do? Is that the energy you're gonna perceive?
I didn't like that.
What's up, guys?
It's KNR.
Back at it again with another video. You guys have been asking for it. Here it is. Part 3 of our story. Still a little recap. So what did we learn?
What did we learn?
In the past 2 parts, what was our story so far?
What was the first one?
First attractions.
First attractions.
When she was first attracted to me. Which makes me realize you don't know the moment when I was first attracted to her.
Yeah, when were you first attracted to me?
That's for another part.
What?
Part 0, baby. First attractions, mission trip. She looked into my eyes as they were closed. And then elephant in the room, where the feelings were so like, I'm here. That we just got
It's a big fat elephant.
big fat fatty elephant, thick elephant. So we had to say something. So we ended off. We did not say anything. We ended off our story at we agreed together that this was not the right timing. Guys, if you don't know, she just came back from Korea, so she's so jet lagged.
My energy level is.
She can't match my energy. She can't match my energy. She can't match my energy. Shout out Romar Jesse. So we left off our story. Driving after we went to the parking lot, we realized this is not the time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be accountable. We're gonna tell Pastor, hey, you know what? I feel like we're gonna figure out what we're gonna say. So that's where we left off. I'm driving to Pastor's. She's driving to Pastor's, and it's midnight.
It was midnight, yeah. This was a Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, after prayer night. After our prayer for ourselves, we drove off to his house. He was scared like a little baby. You were so nervous. I was the one who pushed to talk to your dad.
I was gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, but you were so nervous.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect.
Exactly. I was nervous too, but like I really was like.
It was an act.
I have to do it today, right now.
For me, it was an act.
Shut up. How's that an act? I know
so you would feel comfortable.
How would I feel comfortable if you're nervous? You're
That
supposed to be
means-
the one like...
So, we get to Pastor's. We say, hey, we need to talk to you. He says, oh, okay. Sits down at the table. It's midnight. It's dark out. He sits down. We're about to say something. We're about to say, but... My mom walks downstairs. She sees what's happening here. My dad said, sit down, Mom. Sit down. So she sat down, and then I said, so, here's the thing. I hear everything you have to say before you say anything. I feel like I know that she has feelings for me. And I feel like she feels that I know that I have feelings for her. So, he said opposite ends of the table. He said, so, we came here today to tell you. We realize we're not in the right season. We realize the timing's not right. So we're so willing to cut it off. Give us the word, we'll cut it off.
I'm just waiting till how you're going to phrase the story because... Just continue.
You want to go?
No. I just want to hear what you're going to say.
Then he said, he thought really hard. And he looked at me and he said, Ricci. I said, Ricci, how old are you? You said?
23.
23. Kyle, how old are you? 22. He said. Ricci, what does your career look like? Are you still gonna do nursing or? And she said, no, this is pretty final. We're gonna do YouTube. Me and Cassie have a really good thing going for us, and we're even thinking of how we can rebrand as if we get like moms, because there are even people who are like parents that are doing YouTube and they're making so much. And he said, he turned to me. He said, Kyle, what are you gonna do? What's your plan? See, sounds like him, right? I said, I know that my calling is to be a pastor. I'm for sure. I know it's all. No changing, no turning back. My calling is to be a pastor, and I know that I can make really good money off music. I'm making money off music right now, as a matter of fact. But
you were coming off as so.
I was so defensive. Like, of course, I'm gonna say everything I want to say, right? So then I said, he said, okay. And he said, so you're done. You're not gonna go back to school. I said no. He said, Kyle, how many more years do you have left? I said, I could actually graduate this April. He said, Well, I'm just thinking, how long have you been seeking the Lord as someone who's single? And I said, well, how many years was it for you?
Me seeking the Lord, single, 4 years.
She had 4 years. He said, you've been, serving. Yeah, we've had a lot of talk, right? Yeah. Kyle, when was the last time you were in a relationship again? I said, grade 12. He said, how long, or grade 11, I said grade 11, it wasn't grade 12, grade 11 said, how long have you been kind of on this journey of being alone and discovering who you are first before you try to mess up, discovering who you are because someone else is involved? He said, how long has it been? How many years? I said, like 4 or 5 years, I think. 5 years. He said, so you're pretty solid. I said, yeah, I know. He looked at us back and forth, and he said, I don't think you need to cut it off. I said, he said,
what's stopping you?
He said, what else is stopping you? Huh? I said, what? A minute? Wait a minute. He said, work, career, school, spiritual life, can be pastor, 22, 23. Checks out. What's stopping you? I said, I actually don't know. And so I think it was at this point that I realized I had been so content in just being me and God, like all about me and God. And I was so content and I was so happy living just a life that is dedicated to discovering Him that I didn't even realize that He was already moving me into new seasons that I could not anticipate. I feel like the moment you're so desperately trying to anticipate your next season, that's when you know you're not ready for it, because you have not been a good steward of the present season that God has called you for.
Right.
And so I was so used to just being me and just doing my thing and like dating myself and just loving God, discovering more of what I was capable of, discovering more of my threshold, all these things. I was so used to it that I didn't realize that I was not the same person I was 5 years ago. And I know that's the same. Well, you can talk for yourself, right? You can. You're woman power. Come on, girl. I don't want to explain it for you.
Stop.
So realize at this time, I have been preaching a few times already at church. I've been leading worship at our main service and at our youth service. I was on the leadership team for a while, and I was very, very firm in who I was, very firm in my faith. I was already going to Bible college. In fact, I was already almost finishing Bible college. I could graduate that coming April, right?
You did.
And I did. And so this was like, there was no more big drastic transformation and discovery. There's always reformation and there's always building, but there was no more of this like I desperately need like a big 180. It was kind of like I was already walking kind of the path.
Where you were going.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, scripture says that he makes our path straight, meaning I was already kind of in that trajectory. I wasn't running away or anything like that. So yeah, that was on my end. That's how it kind of went down.
Because we wanted from the very start to make things right, so we were so like set on we were prepared to let go. To
completely just...
Yeah.
And I had been such a pro at it. So I was okay. I was like, let's do it. Let's go see each other. We know why we're doing it.
Yeah, like, we were obviously scared. Like, I had that feeling in me. Like, I was scared to lose him. But, like, that feeling, but I knew that whatever would happen, whatever pastor would say, that would be the decision that would be best for us. Mm-hmm. Why am I crying?
Don't cry.
I'm crying.
Don't cry.
I'm not.
Just tearing up.
A little bit. I'm fine. But stop! Don't look at me, or else I'll cry even more.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like what I said in my testimony at the church, I said that everything that happened in the past prepared me for what I was going to go through in the future. So all the heartbreak, all the pain, all the suffering prepared me for what we were going to experience, or what we were walking into, basically. And that's why we were so like firm in who we are, that we didn't really care what the decision would be, because I knew that my feelings for him were strong, and it was just like a matter of like the process
of doing it right.
It was all about waiting, like the waiting process. Like, I have learned how to love the waiting process.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah, it's a really like it's a place where like 4 years is a long time for some people, where you
5 mine I think it was even 6 years.
Yeah, where you sit restless trying to find someone that could give you love, but actually, like, if you found the true source that gives you love, it's like you don't need to
satisfied.
You don't need to look for it anywhere, especially through social media. There's so much affirmation that could be given, especially for me with YouTube to the nines. Like, there's so much that I could take in, but I knew that even when hate came in, like, I wasn't moved. You know, I wasn't like, oh, this is my identity because someone on the other side of the screen said this, you know? So I just knew who I was, and I knew the path that I was walking into. And yeah, I mean, like, at 23, I was like, I love Jesus, you know, I'm serving God with all my heart. And then this is just a plus in my life where I'm serving with him, and I've like been serving with him for the longest time. So yeah, I don't know. It was a crazy kind of like journey of trying to like understand that feeling, but I remember feeling like if I liked someone, that was a bad thing before. It was a bad thing because like feelings for people aren't bad, but it's what you do about it at the right time. So timing is everything. God is never late. He's always on time. So his timing is always perfect. It's always beautiful. So it's just trusting in that process. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I could have easily just settled for less. I could have, like, very easily, because everything was ticked off. Like, everything was like just like there. It was easy, convenient. Like, the only thing was that it wasn't the right time. But I could have made my own decision by saying, hey, like, I'm going to settle. I want this. But I really chose growth instead of settling for complacency, settling for what's convenient. Because many times, like, we love just settling for what's in front of us when there's actually the best that's waiting for you in the end. And you don't normally see it. You don't see that for yourself until people come into your life and tell you that it's not the right time. That's why I always value people's I always value people in my life that can speak over me and give me advice. But yeah,
that's true. I mean, we both kind of have similar stories in the sense that, you know, I was in a relationship that did not at all honor God in any way. In high school, grade 11, I think, is when it started. And I knew that I was kind of living this double life of I was one person at church and then a different person, when I was at school or whatever. And God would really test me a lot with obedience. And something that we learned, actually, I preached a few weeks ago, is you know that you're ready for a relationship when you are spiritually mature. Because unless you're spiritually mature, you will not have the capacity to handle all the promise that God wants to pour into your life. Meaning, it might be the right thing, but it's mishandled because of lust. It might be the right thing, but it's mishandled because of jealousy. And so the container within you is not capable to contain the promise that he wants to pour into you. So the reason why spiritual maturity is so important, I preached, is because it gives us three things. It gives us discernment, it gives us wisdom, and it gives us obedience. So discernment, wisdom, and obedience. I said this point, which is so good, I think that it's worth saying in this video. And this is, of course, I apologize, but this is very much seeing things through a Christian lens, just because this is our background. But it's very easy for you to trick yourself into discernment, right? Where you're saying, you know what, I feel like this is what God is kind of leading into me, so I'll say that it is. So it's easy to kind of, without really trying to discern, right? Because if you're really trying to discern, that means you're open to any option, you're open to any answer. But it's easy to trick ourselves into discernment. It's easy to trick ourselves in wisdom and saying, this is the wise thing to do.
Yeah.
It's very easy. But it is so, so difficult to trick ourselves into obedience.
Yeah.
Because if someone comes into your life, if someone in authority comes into your life, spiritual authority, parental authority, any authority comes into your life and says, hey, now is not the time, or hey, now this is not the right person. Now you're faced with an entity that you have to be obedient to.
Yeah.
And now that's the true test of whether or not you're spiritually mature. Because the spiritually immature will say, I discern and this is wise for me, so I'll do it. But if you really believe that God had the best in store for you, you would be open to any criticism, even the slightest criticism, because you'd be careful to stick to and to walk and abide with God through everything.
Preach.
That was good, right?
Preach.
You wanted this part 3, right? Right? So you're just going to listen to us and not apply anything in your life?
Stop.
But that's the biggest thing. I mean, a lot of people are, we jump into a relationship that we know we can't handle just because it feels right at the time. And we only reap the consequences later on. The saying, everything is 20/20 in hindsight, right? Meaning you can look back and you say, oh, I actually knew, but you didn't. You didn't know because you didn't listen. Yeah. Right? There are a lot of things that God is trying to yell at us because we're simply not giving ourselves the space to listen to what he wants to say. So that's where we are. We're there, and Pastor says, hey, you know what? You don't have to completely cut it off. Pray about it really hard. So what we actually did was, for the next few months, we would pray every other day. Every time we'd see each other,
Every other day.
Every day. Well, she would, we would be counseling with Pastor every day. You remember that? Yeah. For 4 weeks straight, we'd be always with Pastor, please guide us. How do we do things right? We really want to do it in wisdom. We want to do it, to make sure that it's all right. We start out right out of the gate. We were always praying looking for deal breakers. If this is not the one, God, give us a sign, and we're ready to just drop it all. Right?
I think that's the one thing Pastor always said. Look for deal breakers. And I was I didn't know what else there was to
discover.
Not like about you.
Okay, yeah.
Because I feel I'm already past that. So even a small thing that ticks me off, I'm not going to use that as something that will take my love away from you.
It will tick you off.
You tick me off, it's it's not enough. I didn't get that, but I understood where he was coming from. Look for deal breakers. You want to make sure that he's the one, because you don't want to spend the rest of your life with someone who's not.
Not even that. You don't want to spend the rest of your life living in regret.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, is this really the right decision? So where we are now in the story is that we are waiting for graduation. Woo!
What's graduation?
My graduation, baby! Woo!
Well, you said...
So we talked to Pastor already in our story. We got the piece of wisdom that says pray about it really hard and find deal breakers, find things that will put you off and turn you off because you don't want to make a mistake. Now we know for sure that it's going to be this, but we're leaving ourselves open to whatever God has to say. So, and it's worth mentioning, at this time, we didn't isolate ourselves. We didn't go on dates, right? We didn't
have a label.
We didn't have a label. We didn't have none of these things. Right? Because we weren't official yet. We weren't dating yet. We were none of that. All we were simply doing was waiting and seeing what God had in store for us.
Yeah.
So, the first people we told, of course, Pastor's wife, which are my parents, if you didn't know. And then she told her dad and her mom. Her mom was in the Philippines at this time. So we really wanted to wait till she was here so we could tell her in person. Because it would be so fun, but too excited. So she, her and her dad, or she called her mom, and her dad didn't know yet, but she told both of them live together over a call. Yeah. So they both found it at the same time. And then when her mom came back here, right the day that she came, or the night that she came, something like that, I bought like a bunch of roses, and then I went and I surprised her and I said like, oh, hi tita, like, here's some flowers, like, now, kind of a thing. And she was really like laughing and stuff, and yeah.
You're right.
Part 3 over.
On that note,
buy our merch, baby.
Dropped our merch. The link will be down below. Yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for your love. Thanks for waiting for this long-awaited video.
Yep.
Stay tuned for season 4. Or what?
So she's so tired. We have so many takes where she's just yawning. She's fine. She's a traveler. That's it. Look at our episode list and our community page and our community tab. But yeah, see you next time.
Peace.
She loved me from my eyes, I can't tell.